My teams are the folks that you guys interact with after you've made the decision to go with SolarWinds. So I have the good fortune of leading the teams that are all about post sales. So it's about our support, it's about our services, and about our SolarWinds Academy. And today I want to talk to you a little bit more about them. So there's so much focus on the products and making sure that you understand about the products and how we can help you solve problems. I think what we need to also focus some energies on, and I'm excited that we have a whole breakout session on this, is to help you better understand about all of the services that we make available to you, so you can learn more about your products to help you address issues when something goes bump in the night, and invariably it does. So let's jump right into that. When we look at the organization, and I lead the post-sales teams, as I mentioned, we've got about 350 people globally that are all here focused on one thing, and that is to help you get value from your software. And we do that, as we'd like to talk about, is by establishing long-term relationships, one experience at a time. And so whether you're working with us in the support organization, you're consuming some of our content on the Success Center, you're taking a SolarWinds Academy class, you're working with us through Smart Start, it's all about how do we get down to the experience level to make sure that you're getting value, and that we believe that if we provide value at each and every experience, that we will, in fact, establish these long-term relationships. Terry had just talked about this idea of, always being the go-to person. And we have a philosophy on my teams that we call being altruistically selfish, right? And the idea of those two words, which oftentimes don't go together, is that if we take care of other people's needs, right? If we come to work every day and we focus on helping customers get value, making sure that they stay in value, that we will ultimately take care of our needs in the long run. Right. And so that's the foundation of the organization. So when we think about that, it's about how do we help others? How do we help them? So if you look at this image, this idea of how do you lend a hand? How do you make sure that customers get value? And how do we make sure that they stay in value so that they all can rise together? Right. So when we look at the products it's themselves, you guys are, and you're hopefully learning a lot more about our products today. But the ITOM portfolio, IT Operations Management portfolio, has some really compelling technologies in it. But as I mentioned, mostly my teams are focused about how do we help you get value from those. So we're going to talk about the 6 components of what we think are our customer success programs, right? SolarWinds has long held this idea and this promise of making sure that our products are easy to try, easy to buy, and easy to implement. And so the programs we're going to be talking about today, things like the customer portal, things like our support, our Smart Start, our Academy, all of the components of our customer success are here to make sure that you, in fact, do get value from them, that you're able to get them deployed very, very quickly, and that you want to continue to use those. So I'm really excited to walk through this, and we'll get started with that now. Okay, so it all starts in the portal. The portal is where you go to activate your licenses. It's where you go to access information about your support cases. It's where you go to register for training classes. We have made this the central point of all of your interactions with SolarWinds as a customer. The customer portal has grown over the years. We've continued to add more and more functionality and more capabilities there. The idea here is that we want you to have a singular point where you can go and make sure that you have access to all of those important components, and that you are able to interact with us in ways that you will find valuable. One of the things that we are looking at, we're going to talk more about this later, is what else can we do? So I would love to see through the chat window here, if you guys have ideas on how we can better serve you, and whether it be in this particular one, the customer portal, or any of those, the things that we're going to talk about in our customer success programs, that you please put those in the chat, because we'd love to get your feedback. But the customer portal, again, is where you go, you activate your product's licenses, you can access the support cases, you can check the status of your maintenance and things like that. So let's talk about the Success Center. So one of the things that we have heard directly from you, and I love to get your feedback, is that SolarWinds makes great products. They have great support, But what we'd like to do is do more help ourselves. We had customers tell us that, we live in a time and in a world in which we like to take things on. We like to Google things, as some of you told me directly. And so you asked for us to give you the ability to have access to our richest technical content, right? And that was the advent of the SolarWinds Success Center. That site was developed and deployed more than 4 years ago. And over that time of that last 4 years, it has grown to be now the technical hub for all of our richest technical content, including more than 17,000 articles. We have added things like our new to pages, which will give you access to information about the new products that you have just purchased. You can also research additional products there. We have getting started guides. We have access to all of our administration guides, our new release features and functions. We have training videos there. This site has grown to the point now where we have literally millions and millions of users coming to it each and every year. We continue to update it. We add new things. Earlier this year, we added a whole new section called the Upgrade Resource Center to the Success Center. And that site was developed, or the microsite was developed specifically for a central repository for our Orion upgrade resources, to make sure that we've given you the very best information we have around your Orion upgrade paths. So that's the second component of our success programs. The next of which is one that hopefully you learn a whole lot more about today. I know this is what Cal Smith, who is our host, leads. The Academy is what I like to think of as the best kept secret of SolarWinds. And I don't like the fact that it's the best kept secret, because this is something that is a benefit of all of your SolarWinds software, is that you get full access to our SolarWinds Academy. This is our training program. It's included in all of the products. It is something, thank you, Cal. I see you just put a link up in the chat window there. This is where we have 3 different types of training available to you. We have our instructor-led. It's all done via the internet now, but we have instructor-led training classes that are available at scheduled times. We call that our virtual classrooms. We also have e-learning, and e-learning is something that has really grown dramatically since the global pandemic has forced us all to move to a different work configuration. We've seen a tremendous uptick in the number of our customers taking our e-learning training. And then we also have training videos that you can access at any time. Now, this is something that the word is getting out on, which is terrific. It is something that more than 20,000 learners have taken classes this year on, which is terrific. It is something that I think we need to do an even better job of helping you all become aware of and take a training class. They're readily available to you. We keep them updated. We add new classes to the Academy itineraries on a monthly basis. New product training we try to make as much of our content available to you in the Academy as at all possible. This is something that we think is an area where more of our customers could learn about the products, go and evaluate new products via taking training classes there. So I think it's something that's critically important, and I would love to see more of you take classes. The next component of the customer success programs is our Smart Start. So Smart Start is something that came, again, directly from customers asking us for a little bit of assistance when after they purchase the software, to help them get their software set up, to help get them configured, and to help them get into production in a more expedited manner, right? So this is not our professional services type of offer. We have partners that can do that if you're looking for professional services. What Smart Start is by its kind of definition, right? It is a smart start to your life with your product, right? The idea is you work with one of our experienced professionals, and they will help you understand how to set it up. They will help you understand how to configure it, how to do things like configuring your alerts or configuring your servers and things like that. I equate it oftentimes to having a Sherpa take you on a guide, right? Or take you on a journey as your guide. The thought behind this is, look, we're not in the business, and we have been very, very consistent about, we don't want to be a professional services firm. We, in fact, want to make software that is very, very easy for our customers to get value from. And that is absolutely part of the foundation and the DNA of our company. But having someone there as a coach or as a mentor who has done it before you really does add an awful lot of value. And what we've seen is that customers who come along with us in the Smart Start journey, they do get to value much more rapidly. They find that they get more value from their software because they're learning about more of its capabilities. We find that their environments are healthier. They are much less prone to have to reach out to support after the implementation. We also find that they're interested in expanding their SolarWinds environment because they're getting so much more value from it much more quickly. So this is something that we are very, very high on. It's something that you have asked for and we've responded to. One of the areas that we're looking at is, how do we now move from the way that we do Smart Start with the Sherpa guide into a self-led type of Smart Start engagement. We launched earlier this year a self-led program for Smart Start. It's something that we continue to expand upon. And so the idea there is that we've taken all of the same content that our Smart Start reps use when they help you go through deployment, and we've made that now available without the guide, right? So all the same checklists, all the same processes that they would use to help you through a Smart Start engagement, we now make available to you so that you can consume it on your own. Use the checklist to help you ensure that your deployment is successful. So that's the Smart Start program. The next program in the customer success programs is around our SCP, right? And SCP is something, SolarWinds Certified Professional program, is a program that actually, believe it or not, started back in 2009. Patrick Hubbard and company, one of the original head geek, started this program as a way to have SolarWinds customers be able to show off their SolarWinds knowledge, right? Over time, the program became more of a generic understanding, or a certification of an understanding of networking. And so we doubled down on this program a couple years ago. We invested in it very, very heavily. We've now expanded it to include all of the SCPs you see there. And we continue to expand upon it. We are now rated as one of the top 5 networking certification programs. The programs are much, much more official. They're much more challenging, I'll be honest with you. They are now something that you can use to really demonstrate your knowledge of your SolarWinds products. It's something that we have customers telling us that they are looking for candidates to bring into their organizations who are SCP certified. And so it's something that we will continue to support, something that we will continue to invest in, because we think it's a great way for you to demonstrate your knowledge of the SolarWinds product. So that's something that is very important to us. The next program is one that I don't have to probably tell you guys a whole lot about because you're here at Thwack Camp, and that is our Thwack user community. This is something that has been a vital part of the SolarWinds experience for years and years, but now it's really grown up to the point of where, as we can see via the Thwack Camp online user event with more than 6,000 people attending this year, it's really grown to something that is quite special. It's something where you can interact with your peers. You can ask for counsel on how they have done things like deployed their technology. You can interact with our product managers. You can interact with folks in the other parts of the organization. But the idea here is that it's all about, how do we create an experience where you feel connected to the SolarWinds community? And that's vitally important because, again, going back to what I said earlier, it's all about, how do we help you get the most value from your SolarWinds dollar? How do we help you solve your problems so that you become SolarWinds advocates, right? And that's vitally important, which leads me to the last component of our SolarWinds customer success programs, and that is around our support org. And this is a group of folks that I couldn't be more proud of. This group comes to work every day with a dedication and a commitment to helping you solve your problems, right? They realize that when you reach out to them that you're in a bad place, right? You're generally calling in because something isn't working as you expected. You may have had a system down. You may have had something go wrong, and you can be in a place where you may not be in a good mood. Let's face it, right? So the SolarWinds support team is a global organization that are committed to helping you get back to where you need to be, right? As we like to talk about, we want to become your advocate. We want to be there as your trusted partner. We want to solve whatever problem that is that you have today, but also put you in a position to get more value so that you want to stay a long-term customer for years and years to come. Now, a couple things that are important here. One of which is understanding what support does and doesn't do, right? And how those things work together. So first of all, let me start off by giving you a little bit of context about the support organization. So the first of which is we are a global organization. We support our customers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? We're the only team in SolarWinds that are on always, no matter what, whether it be Christmas or it be Thanksgiving or it be any holiday. We have people here ready to help you, right? We have a follow the sun model, which means you can start in, for example, in North America. And if your case goes on longer than that, you could certainly find that you're working with our teams in Asia or even continuing on into EMEA, right? And that's something that's important to understand how that works. We provide support for all of our products, right? We are 100% SolarWinds people. We don't have it outsourced to a third party. This is something that we have invested very, very heavily in. I've had the privilege of leading the customer success programs for nearly 7 years now. And I can tell you that this team alone has seen the tremendous benefit from additional investment in more people, systems, technology. This is a group that has grown from being what I would tell you years ago, I could characterize as being good enough to now being borderline world class. It has won numerous awards, and it's really taken a hard look at itself to say, okay, how do we get better? How do we provide customers the types of support that they need, right? We have grown from just offering one support for all to now having differentiated supports, which I'll talk about here in just a second. We have invested in things like our onboarding services. We have invested in technology. The advent of this global pandemic has forced us to take another look at the way that we provide support, because now we have folks working from home, as many of you do. But now we've had to look at other technologies and other ways of working with our customers. And so we continue to innovate in support. One of the areas of innovation comes, again, directly in response to some of our largest customers saying, look, we like working with your support, but we're looking for something bigger. We're looking for a more sophisticated, much more structured type of arrangement, right? And so what they asked us for with things like service level guidelines, so we could actually now make a commitment to them about, when there is a system down or a high priority, that we actually would give them guidelines as to what we would be committed to. We also looked at things like how could we do a better job of giving them direct access to our backline support, right? And so we developed the first offering, which was our Premier support. This is something that we now have had many customers sign up for. There is an additional fee for it, but I would tell you that the customers that are working with us in Premier support, this middle column here, are now some of our most successful customers because they know that we are very much committed to them. They know that we are invested with them. We are helping them get their environments to a much healthier place. And we are looking for ways that we can expand the value that they get from their SolarWinds software. The next level up, which is something that is a relatively new offer, is our SolarWinds Premier Enterprise support. These are for our very largest customers, and this is something that is, I think, really starting to pay dividends for those largest customers, the ones who are looking for almost a dedicated team, certainly a named team. And in the case of the Premier Enterprise, you get just that. You get a named team of people that you work with. They are our most senior, most sophisticated support engineers. We work with you on things like health checks, and this is very proactive health checks, where we will come in and go through an evaluation of your entire environment, and give you the ability to understand what goes on at each of the polling engines, so we can see what is going on inside your environment. We come up with a remediation plan or a get well plan, and then we work with you proactively to get you to a healthy state. We have seen some of our customers in this in the Premier Enterprise work with us very closely over the course of 3 to 6 months to take an environment that sometimes they've inherited, sometimes they've deployed, but has not been optimized, into one that over that time frame becomes a very highly optimized environment that is running at the highest levels. And customers that go from a degree of frustration because they didn't maybe deploy it the right way the first time, to ones that are very, very successful and looking to expand on that. There are several examples that we are working with that to me demonstrate why moving up from professional support into Premier and then Premier Enterprise is absolutely the right thing for some customers, right? There are many customers, and in fact, I talk about the experience that the support organization is now able to offer, and it's really truly bordering on world class. I'm not saying we're perfect, guys. I'm not, because I know there's always areas that we can improve on. But this team has moved from delivering customer satisfaction scores in the mid to upper 80s several years ago to now consistently delivering 93, 94%. We have an initiative internally that we refer to as Drive for 95. We want to get to 95% CSAT for all of our support offerings. Our Premier and Premier Enterprise are delivering customer satisfaction levels in the 97, 98, 99 level. CSAT level. So couldn't be more proud of what this team has done. And I think there's a terrific opportunity to look at how we can work with you. And if you need additional support, I would encourage you to reach out to one of our support folks and ask about these different programs. There's one remaining component that I want to talk about. And this is something that I'm super excited about. Kevin Toomey, who's one of our principal application engineers, is going to walk you guys through a session on this a little bit later today. But there is a program that is a direct outgrowth of the Premier and Premier Enterprise support program that is a tool that was developed internally by our teams called Orion Insights. This is something you're going to hear an awful lot more about in today's sessions, but in going forward, because this is something that I think we are really going to change the game for you guys, right? So let me give you a little bit of context here. So Orion Insights is a tool that was developed by our support team. Started years ago, just looking at simple ways we could use scripting to go through and evaluate the analytics and the logs that come from you when you work with our support team. Over the last several years, the team has developed more and more automation around the way that we work with the diagnostics, the way that we work with your logs. We can now go through, and we've fully automated that to the point of where when you upload your diags to us in the customer portal, which will be something that you'll see available to you now in the customer portal, you can automatically get a health check, right? We call it an environmental check of your Orion platform proactively. As I have been explaining this technology to several of our larger customers, imagine a world in which you could upload your diags to SolarWinds in the customer portal, say on a Friday before you go home. You come in Monday morning and you've got a full report in your customer portal that shows you the environmental health of your Orion deployment, right? You can now see things proactively. Hey, you know what? I'm oversubscribed to my pollers here, or hey, I've got some issues over here. This is something now that will change the way that we work with you in support. I can tell you that moving forward, this is going to be something that we use on each and every one of our customers. So a benefit coming from the enterprise and the Premier and Premier Enterprise support offerings now is going to trickle down to all of our customers will get this benefit, right? So this is something that we are super excited about. You should be hearing about it from your sales or your renewals specialists. Certainly you should be hearing about it when you work with our support teams or any of our customer success teams, because this is something that we believe can, in fact, make all of our customers' environments much better. And like I said, Kevin Toomey will be walking you guys through a full demo of this with some sample reports in the later session. So with that, let me jump over here and see if there are any questions. So there's the comment that comes that just looking here about miss the days when including maintenance, including getting the advanced reps at the start. You know, guys, it's something that we're very, very cognizant of. We are looking at ways that we can continue to provide you the highest level of support, right, from the very first call. One of the things that we're looking at is, you know, how do we improve that experience by hiring the right folks from the onset, right? So we have now made a commitment that we're no longer hiring people at what we refer to as the associate level. So we're looking for people that come in who already have experience working with either SolarWinds or certainly in the networking space. And so we're going to hire them into the intermediate level, which is, I think, been super helpful. I talked about a much more formalized way of doing onboarding. So we now have a process that everybody goes through the same onboarding system, and that we found that they get up to speed much more rapidly, as well as now leveraging tools like Orion Insights, I just mentioned, is something where we are getting all of our reps trained on using this technology, because the automation delivers a very consistent and high level of accuracy in the evaluation of the system challenges. So let me see if there's any other questions I can answer here. Okay, Cal, is there anything you want to add, or any questions you have for me? Okay, well, with that, let me move on here. So we want to make sure that you have what you need from SolarWinds support and all of our customer success programs. So I would ask that you please reach out to any of the members of our team. Certainly ask if you have any questions about any of our offerings. If you're not aware of them, we want to make sure that you are becoming aware of them today. My encouragement to you, for you all, would be to jump in and take one of our SolarWinds Academy training classes. I think it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the best kept secrets in SolarWinds, and we want to get the word out on that. So please make sure that you take advantage of the SolarWinds Academy training classes, and keep an eye out for more news on the SolarWinds Orion Insights program. That's going to be something that we're going to be making a lot of noise about in the coming days and weeks. So pay attention to that. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Cal.